I'm an adulterer. I'm an exposer. I'm a child molester. I'm all those things. And they've got to stop.
Alan molested his 6-year-old daughter Amy for 5 years. When it started, she was just a baby.
She was just over a year. And I saw her, and I was aroused by her nakedness, by the touch of her skin. So I figured she's not going to know what's going to happen. So I just caressed her. And that felt good. And so I said, well, she's not going to know what's happening. So I continued to caress her body and started touching her vagina. And I'd touched her before in changing her. But now I was touching her because it gave me pleasure.
Alan mentioned that he had thought of touching Amy. And, of course, that hit me like a ton of bricks. But I just thought that maybe this was just a passing thought and that he wasn't going to take up on it.
And finally, I promised her I was going to stop. Promised her I was going to stop. And I tried staying away from her a couple of weeks. A couple of weeks later, I brought her upstairs and I started undressing her, starting molesting her. And she struggled. She was frightened now. She was always frightened, but now she was really terrorized. And I was about ready to start forcing her. I mean, pinning her down, spreading her legs, forcing her. And I stopped. And that's the only time that I molested her when I didn't have an orgasm. Because I was frightened that she was going to tell now. Because she was scared.
The only thought that was in my mind was, what were they going to do with Amy? Were they going to take her away from me? What was going to happen to her? And how dare they do this to me? How could they take her away from me? Against my will, almost. And I guess that thought was more prevalent than the thought that she had actually been abused, because I didn't want to face the thought that she'd been actually abused.
I might go to jail. The maximum sentence is 5 years. But I'm looking at a realistic possibility of going to jail for 90 days without work release, 90 days inside of jail, where they don't particularly like child molesters. It's a very real possibility. And, of course, the maximum is real, too. I'm scared out of my mind.